This is Pod Populi.
Podcast for the people.
Hi, this is Jamie Diaz. Welcome to Barks to Basics. I am here with one of my certified trainers, Amanda Kreiner, and we are certified dog trainers. And today we are hitting on crate training. So I know, hi Amanda.
Hi, Jamie.
So I know I have my readers in case I have to read something because I can't see without them. But so crate training sometimes gets a bad rap from people. People think, so many people still, I'm like actually shocked, think it's like mean almost. And
like
they don't want to do that to their
yeah.
dog. So I do want to run through some of these things. And we are going to also talk to Amanda because she doesn't use a crate for her dog. So how she got there, why she got there, and why she hasn't fixed it, if it's even fixable from there, and different things you can do if, you know, you are having issues with the crate. So let's start off crate training for me when the number one thing is potty training for a puppy. So let's start, you get a puppy. I honestly don't know how people potty train their dogs without using a crate.
Yeah.
Because every routine that we have for a puppy is a crate. So, well, you have Raja, which is
Yeah.
your dog. How old is Raja?
She's 10.
Did you have her as a puppy?
Yes.
Did you use a crate?
I tried.
Okay. And
Yep.
what you weren't a
So,
trainer then, right?
I was not a trainer then. And literally knew I just grew up having dogs, and when they pottied, we put them outside, and eventually they just stopped. So it was a longer process. It actually, potty training Raja was a quick process because she's very sensitive to anything that changes. So day one, uneducated on training, have my dog, get her out of the crate, and I allow her to walk to the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
I got lucky.
So what if you had a puppy tomorrow?
Oh, I 100% would use a crate. Yeah.
The thing is,
1,000%.
it's a couple of things for at least the potty training and this is for puppy, and we'll talk about older dogs and other issues too besides the potty training. But your dog learns to hold their bladder in the crate. So the longer they stay in the crate, they learn to hold their bladder. What happens for a puppy, which everyone says, oh my God, and we will have a potty training issue because that's a whole episode in itself.
Yeah.
But dogs, they come out, they're moving around, they're jumping. It's like if you really have to pee and you're doing jumping jacks, right? You're going to have to like pee even more running around. So these little puppies have these tiny little pee bladders and they're bopping around. And yeah, they have to pee like every 2 seconds. So if you're getting a puppy, there's literally no other way to do it than to use a crate. And it's so easy for puppies. Again, we'll go over that in like a whole nother kind of topic episode. But the other thing that I have is managing your puppy. So it's really unsafe to leave a puppy just out.
Yeah, it gives me anxiety thinking about it. My dog's 10. And I'm like, I don't know how I did it. I was an anxious mess. Yeah.
Furniture, so many things that you can manage your puppy that way. And also your puppy needs those forced breaks. One of the things I have on here is nap time. So for those of you who have not had a puppy in a long time, it's exhausting. Yeah. You don't get a break. And sometimes you need that break. Also, a lot of people are working from home now and they could be on the computer doing stuff. Like you literally need the time to put your puppy in for a nap. My puppy he's not a puppy. He's 3. He's going to be 3. My rescue even now, when he gets overtired, and you've known because you've watched my kids before, he gets mouthy and starts like nipping these little tiny pinches.
Oh my gosh, your booty, man, the bruises I left with.
And I know he's like tired. It's time for nap time. So that was a main thing for puppies. I think I'm a very successful puppy trainer. I did board and trains for a whole year. I'd never not had a board and train puppy. And it was just very easy for me with the structure of the crate and the potting. So it's a great way to manage your puppy. If your puppy's a little bit older, it's not too late. You can definitely still do that. Yeah. So one of the things, and I actually don't know why you don't use a crate. So if any of these things are why, but one of my things is separation anxiety. A couple things. Okay. One, let's go for as a puppy. So everybody works from home now. So I remember before COVID, I would tell owners, they'd go to work, they leave their dog in the crate for 8 hours. And I was like, you cannot leave your dog in the crate for 8 hours. After post-COVID, I was literally like, you need to put your dog in the crate for 2 to 5 hours. Like, you need to be away from your puppy. So we have a thing called COVID puppies. And those are dogs that got so used to being around mom and dad right next to them all the time that they could not handle the world being away from them. And the crate like creates that space. So
safe space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can actually cause separation anxiety from being with your dog 24/7 all the time. And you know, when you get a puppy, you might be single, you might not be dating, you might not have anything to do. You're with your dog all the time. And then all of a sudden, you meet your man at work, you want to start going out on dates, you want to start traveling, and your puppy cannot handle it, or your dog. Was separation an issue with Raja, or that's not?
So we had a hard time, my husband and I, with her being in the crate. And she did the normal, like, you put her in at night, she cries, you get her, you take her outside, like. But as she got older, it turned into more of a, like, growing up, my dogs would do that and they were fine. And it was their safe space. We'd leave the door open during the day. They go in, they nap themselves, right? That's where they are. But with Raja, it never got better. And it got to the point where I had actually moved into a different apartment before we moved to Florida, and I had a crazy neighbor upstairs. And this lady, I came home the middle of the day, she's like stomping around, yelling at her. She's crazy, right? So my dog, being very sensitive to noises and things like that, I left her alone one time, went to work, came back, and like, it was so dramatic. It was like a horror movie scene. Like, there was drool everywhere. There was blood on the wall. Like, she was trying so hard to get out of that crate that's where I gave up. And I'm like, nope, I can't do this anymore. So again, not knowing how to create that positive association when it just doesn't naturally happen was a struggle for me at the time.
I think that's a good point too. For everybody out there, it does not naturally happen.
No.
Your dog is going to cry for at least 3 days. And I promise, I say this to my clients all the time, I promise on day 3, night 3, you're going to see an improvement if you just stick to it. Now, everybody's a different mom. I'm saying this from like mom experience. You know, there's moms that sleep with their kids. There's moms that like, I would not have my kids in my bed. And there's those different boundaries, which is fine. Yeah. But it's really about creating that safe space. And sometimes it doesn't happen naturally. And the thing is, the one time I will tell people do not use a crate is if that happens.
Yeah.
If your dog is hurting themselves, soaked with drool, I think you just said microphone says soaked with drool, losing teeth, bleeding, like that is an issue. Now, I have helped dogs through that. Sometimes, usually you need medications, which I'll send them to behaviorist or their vet. And sometimes they're never going to be able to be in a crate. So we create a different safe space, like behind a gate in a laundry room or in a bathroom or somewhere that they feel safe, that they don't feel so confined. So this whole crate training topic excludes those. I don't want to include those people that have serious issues with their dog in the crate. Crying is not serious.
Correct. Yeah. Nope.
Whining is not serious.
Super annoying.
They're super annoying.
You'll get through it.
35, 40 minutes of crying is not serious. It does get better. I always, again, I think the reason I want to like talk about this is not so much like, which we can touch on, like how are you going to get your dog used to a crate? It's more if you're using a crate, listen to all these reasons that you're going to see is beneficial. If you're not using a crate, you really want to consider bringing it on and training your dog for that because of these issues. So this is not for the separation anxiety dogs. We already said bad habits. So that was on my list with the bad habits, putting them into a crate so that they don't practice bad habits, like chewing your shoes when you're away. They're not going to chew your shoes when you're away because they're going to be in the crate. Now, I brought up this point, and you brought up another point, but I said daycare and boarding. So couple things. One, daycare. It also takes a specific dog to go to a daycare, but they do have nap time. And in the nap time, some daycares have suites.
Oh my God.
She's just having some microphone.
We're all laid back over my lazy microphone.
They will put them in a crate usually for a nap time, even if it's a run, anything. It's a confined space. The little dogs usually go into a crate. So if you're thinking about daycare at all, your dog is going to be in a crate.
Yep.
The other thing is boarding. Now, I mean boarding either at your home, at somebody else's home, or at a facility. So one of my prereqs for board and trains, and we have a lot of clients that ask us to do like board and trains or pet sitting, like at my house. Number one, do you use a crate? Does your dog cry in a crate? If it's puppies, I'll get through it. I know how to do that. Your dog needs to be in a crate if they're staying at my house. I am not going to risk your dog's bad habits at my house. And that being said too, if my dog's going to your house, you might be like, I'll watch them, but they also have to be in a crate. So either way, if you're at your house, if they're going to somebody else's house, it's better to have a safe space and have them be in the crate. Yeah. And when I was talking about that, you had mentioned travel. So you said, don't forget about travel. What did you mean by that?
So we have some trips coming up. Raja's 10, and we want to travel more. We want to be able to take her with us. Like, we don't want to leave her. She's geriatric now. So it's so sad.
She's only 10.
I know, but I think it's after they're 8. They're considered like an old fart. Like I'm like, she's still like
dead, but she's not dead. She's alive. She's alive.
She's still chugging along, man. But yeah, so we want to stay at Airbnbs. Like, there's so many different places you can stay. But
with her, or this is like leaving her home?
With her.
Okay.
With her. So if you want to take your dog places with you, it doesn't really matter whether it's service, whether it's therapy, whether it's just your companion. A lot of places, even if they allow dogs, won't let you stay there if your dog's not crated. So we've been very, grateful with this great woman on our next trip is like, oh, can she stay in a baby gate? Yes, she can be baby gated in an area. That's where her safe space is, to keep her safe and from other people. And she's also reactive, so other people safe as well.
Is that?
So yeah, so I think in traveling, you never know what's going to happen. What if you're at the airport and you have to be pulled away for some reason and your dog's left alone, or if they don't have a carrier bag if they're little, or if they can't do things like that, or if it's a big dog. Like, it's difficult to travel and have a life if your dog cannot be left in a safe space, right? I also think of like, you want to make sure when they're alone in the going places too. Like, if okay, I come to you for day training. My dog's crate trained, but then the dog is so stressed out all day. You want to make sure it's like properly trained. They understand that they're safe no matter where they're at. So even if they're crate trained at home, I might go on this trip, put her in a safe space. She may not be, right? She might be freaking out still. So just making sure that like your lifestyle, you're going to either be able to continue it, or if you have a dog that's maybe not great in a crate or not crate trained, you might not be able to do things you always want to do because of that.
So let's talk about that a little, because you said your dog's reactive.
Yeah.
So one of my things that I said is like problem behavior is bad habits. So say you have a dog that does have behavioral problems, and either they don't like the pool guy, they don't like workers coming into your house, they don't like any of your friends or family coming into your house. So there are so many clients that I have that this one poor couple, they haven't had people over in like over a year because their dog is like not good with any people, and they don't use a crate. Yeah. So this is some of your issue, or I would think is your issue. So for me, plan one, you come to me, I have a reactive dog. He hates when people come over. Is he crate trained? Yes. Perfect. You're going to put him in the crate in a room that's quiet. The way, people, do not put your dog's crate in the middle of the living room where everybody's, I don't know how many times people are saying they're having trouble with the crate training. And I say, where is the crate? Yeah. It's in the living room. Like where everybody's walking around. The point, like, I don't want to take a nap in the middle of the living room with everybody walking around.
But
right?
I think it's a lot to do with the owners. Like, owners are thinking that's that mentality of the crate is punishment. If I put it in a room, they're by themselves. I want my dog out with me. It's got that kind of mindset where, again, think of your bedroom. You go and you're shopping all day. I just went shopping over the weekend. I'm shopping all day. Could not wait to come home and just like plop in my bed, right? That's what you want a crate to be like for your dog. You know, if you have people over or they're vacuuming or whatever, you're like, shut it off. I'm in my room, right? You want your dog's space to be a space that's safe just like that for them too. Doesn't need to be in the middle of everywhere.
Yeah, I think they get the wrong idea. Even they want them with the family, so they're here, but in the crate where really it should be in quiet space somewhere. I blast a white noise machine. It sounds like, well, my dog's crate is in my daughter's room, which she sleeps with a white noise machine, and it sounds like it's like an airport. It's like blasting, but it drowns out all that extra noise. And then covered or not covered, but that would be my first solution, right? Somebody comes, reactive dog, hates people, hates the pool guy. When the pool guy's here, he goes crazy outside. Put him in the crate when the pool guy's there. Put him in the crate. Always give a treat. I always, even when my dogs were 10 years old, 14 years old, I still gave a treat every single time I put them in that crate. It's not a punishment. You're putting them in there. It's their safe space. No big deal.
Right.
Then I come to your house and I say, I'm your trainer. I'm going to help you with your reactive dog. He hates people. She hates people. New people coming in. What do you do? And I know that you've had some minor incidents.
Oh gosh, you gotta bring up all my dirty
I have
secrets.
to bring all your bad things that you did before you were a dog trainer. Now, I just want to know, how do you deal with that? How do you have people over if Raja is not like, she gets to know people and she, you know, I saw pictures when your mom was there and stuff. I know she gets fine, but what do you do with new people coming? They're coming in and you're like, this is not going to go well when you don't have the crate to utilize.
So we utilize our bedroom with a baby gate. When she's in there, if we have, say, like the AC guy comes, even with a friend, whoever, she goes in there, we shut the gate. She gets a bully stick. She gets a Kong with frozen peanut butter in there so that she's preoccupied. And over time, she used to be like, get me out of here, like pawing at the gate, right? Because she can hear us.
Is it open or shut the door?
The door is open, but the
she can
gate
see.
is. She cannot see out. The way my house is, my bedroom's at the end of the hallway, so she's looking at like a wall.
So there's a gate.
Yes, there's a gate.
Would you, if she could see, what would she do if she was just behind a gate?
Oh, she'd be barking.
Okay,
she'd
so
be
you'd
trying
have
to get out.
So the visual would make it worse. The only reason you
100%.
just have gate is because she cannot see anything.
No.
Because I just want to make that clear,
Yeah.
because a lot of people suggest that. I'm like, if they're going crazy at the gate, like, unfortunately, you have to shut the door and come. Okay, so she's there behind the gate with a Kong, can't see anything but a wall. And then what happens? Does she stay there when the guests are there?
So if it's someone that's just like in and out working on the house or something like that, or it's someone coming over really quick, we usually just leave her in there. We have seen a behaviorist. So she does have medication that we give her that just helps her calm down.
Situational or daily?
Situational.
Okay.
Yes, because daily she doesn't really have like her everyday anxieties. She's a chow chow mix, so she's a little protective by nature. She's excellent. She's a princess. Okay. But she's like me. I don't like everybody. You know,
No?
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's particular with that, but she's also, we can have people come over to the house. We can have parties. We just give her medication and it takes that edge off for her. It's the same thing as like a human taking, a medication with they're anxious about flights, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it does take that edge off. She's much more relaxed, right? Now, if I see like her precursor, she's giving me the whale eye or giving someone the whale eye or a little stiff, then we'll put her back in there and give her a little break. But even if your dog isn't crate trained, they still need those breaks. They're very, very important. Old or puppy, it's going to really like benefit them.
I think I'm like huge on the crate, but there was a client yesterday in Jupiter and said she's using the crate. Dog's great with the crate. So for those of you who don't know, we have training schools that the dog comes for training at a school with curriculum, and they have to be crate trained. Dog's great in the crate. She said at home, and this is what happens, she was whining so much and crying that she's like, we gave up. And now she's in a room downstairs. It might be the laundry room with the baby gate. Bed's in there. She doesn't even use the bed. She passes out on the cold tile floor, and she's great the whole night.
Yeah.
So for me, that's her safe space. Like, I'm okay with that. It's more the I guess the struggle I have is convincing clients that you have to have somewhere, some sanctuary space. The crate is typically the easiest to get them used to. I know it took me 3 weeks. A dog that his previous owner used the crate for punishment. So it took us 3 weeks to get this dog used to the crate, but we did it by feeding him in it, like just taking your time. So I think the biggest thing for me is not that, first of all, not trying the crate, but that they're not going to have any safe space for the dog. Cause like you have behind the gate, you have to have something that your dog can go behind. And the answer is not having anybody over. And also the answer is not, let's see what happens. And so give us a little story of like something that could happen from if you don't have a safe space, if you just kind of, you're laughing because I'm bringing up the story.
I mean, I feel like there's a couple, but are you the main one? The Instacart?
Oh, yeah, the Instacart. Yeah.
Crap. Yeah, so like I said, my dog is a chow chow. We socialized her very well when she was little, but just with changes in her life, she's become very, very protective and particular. You don't have to defend her. I have to defend her. I have to. I'm that dog mom.
Girl.
She's a good girl, but I just want to.
So I want to just go over that for mismanagement of things like, so if you're not going to have your dog in the crate, and you're not going to use a safe space like behind a gate, this is something that could happen very quickly. So what would that tell us the story?
Yeah, so I've got COVID and I am ordering medications. So Instacart driver comes up. We're very careful. There's notes on it. We have a sign on the door that says don't knock. We have notes on my Instacart account that says please do not knock on door, leave here, because we trying to keep so she doesn't react so that we don't get anything from her. So not that it was the guy's fault this happened, but comes up to the door, slams on the door knocking. Of course, Raja goes crazy. She's like, who the heck, So I get up. Matt like through the door and I'm like, okay, just leave it. Like, just leave it right there, okay? And he doesn't hear me. I crack the door. She's never pushed through the door ever. She's 70 pounds. She's a hefty lady. And she saw the guy through the blinds and just booked it. Knocked me over, pushed him out. He starts walking away. Of course, when you have a dog that is already coming towards you, you never just want to keep walking away, right? That motion's going to have them react more. So he keeps doing that. Again, I know I'm trying to blame this guy instead of my dog, but goes up and I'm like, Raja, of course. She's super stimulated. She's not going to come to me. So I went out and as I'm reaching to grab her, she lunged and bit him in the stomach. So didn't, break the skin or anything, but hole in his shirt. I had to pick her up and carry her inside, get her in there. I was very lucky. I'm like, oh my gosh, new to Florida. Like, what are the laws down here? Is animal control going to come? Am I going to have to get rid of my dog? Because if so, my butt's getting in a car and going to Michigan in 2 seconds because that's not happening, right? So I looked at him like, I'm so sorry. You okay? Okay. He goes, I'm okay. He looks at me and he goes, she has her shots, right? And I'm like, yeah, she's all up to it. He goes, all right, well, thanks for shopping with Instacart. And I'm like, oh,
Instacart, we love you, Instacart.
We love you. I got an email the next day saying it happened again. They delete my account.
No.
But they did. But I'd much rather that than what could have happened, right?
So what do you do now if you get an Instacart? Or don't say you don't use Instacart.
Oh, I always use. I'm a homebody.
I
do.
So what do you do now?
So usually she's in the bedroom or we put her in the backyard.
Okay.
So just so we can quickly open the door.
So again, having that safe space that you can put your dog in. So those are obviously extreme measures and not try. See, when I'm training, I always assume every dog's going to bite because they can. Any dog, even your little foofy dog or so I always rather be safe and have them away behind a gate or a crate than not. So some of the other things or things that I didn't think of until I went through it. A groomer, right? So most groomers, this thing. I love groomers. They're amazing. I always have had dogs that don't shed, so I'm very comfortable with going to the groomer. My groomer creates the dogs. There are cageless grooming. The problem with me with that is that I don't know the other dogs. I don't know how the other dogs are. A lot of dogs don't like every dog. Just like we were saying, like I don't like every single, or I might not like in that way. I'm not going to maybe be friends with every single one. And I don't want to be stuck in a room with them just there, right, at a party with people I might not gel with. So for a dog being cageless, it's great, but I would just investigate that. I want to know when I'm going to the groomer that my dog is in a crate and he's safe.
Well, think too, like a groomer is not a trainer. A groomer has not studied behavior. You don't know how they're going to react if something does happen. You don't know if they're going to know what to do. What if there is a situation, they don't know behavior. They don't know if your dog is getting uncomfortable. If they're already in that safe space, not even an issue, right? Like how much more like comfortable are you now knowing that my dog is going to be safe when they're not?
But again, it comes to that idea of I don't want my dog in a crate. So many times I don't want my dog in a crate. Like when we talk about our day training program and some clients that we say your dog will be crated in between sessions because it's a lot of work that your dog is doing. Forget it. I don't want my dog in a crate. Right. So it's just I'm really trying to change that whole kind of picture for people that if you do it the right way, you're going to hear so many people say, my dog loves their crate. I mean, Finley, when I grab a treat, he like beelines to his crate in my daughter's room and is like waiting in there for me to give the treat. I close it. So then I don't feel bad.
When we get him out in day training, it's like, Finley, come on. He's like, okay, just 1 second. As he's like stretching and he's so comfortable in there. It's his little house, right?
And I think that's the point is to get them comfortable like that. The one thing that I did not think of, my dog Oreo, he passed at 16 last year. He was in renal failure, so his kidneys were going. He was he was like a hot mess. He started like peeing all over my house. I love my dogs, but like with anybody that has to deal with older people, parents, any older, Samantha, or older. Well, it's hard, like dealing with people that are like that old. A 16-year-old dog, he's friggin' old.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with somebody that's kind of senile, and it's like hard to like. He has no idea what's going on, and it's not his fault. Why are you laughing at me when I'm saying dealing with older people? Because you're young.
Like, I'm just thinking like I would never deal with an older person peeing all over my house. That's all I can think about when you say that. I'm like,
saying you might have to like wipes and do some things that you don't usually do.
Like, you gotta go stay.
You're just younger. You'll
Assisted living.
So, oh my God. So we love our parents.
Sorry, Mom.
But I didn't realize that this was going to happen. So he started peeing everywhere, started having seizures. He still could jump up on my bed and stuff like that. So now like I said to my husband, I was like, I cannot come home and be cleaning up and my house smell like pee every day. Yeah. There's like saliva on the floor because I know he was like having seizures. We were doing everything like medically that we can. At this point, it's just like he wasn't at the point to put him down yet.
Right.
And at this point, he was still living a good life besides having these accidents and occasional seizures.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm bringing back the crate. And I wouldn't suggest this to everybody, but him and my other dog always slept in the crate together. So Ritz that I have now and Oreo in a huge crate I brought home. And I put them both, and it was like riding a bike. I put that crate up, and he was in it constantly. I obviously shut him in it. They would both like go in it, lay in it in the day, all the time. I would shut Oreo in it when I was gone, and I actually found like hardly any saliva. I don't know if he just wasn't having them or what. And then I knew he was safe because falling off the cat, like that could really hurt him when we're not home. So the peeing stopped. It's like he learned that in there, he's not messing up his space, and he never had an accident in the crate. Obviously, I would like this would be for short periods of time, maybe like 2 hours at a time, because I knew he had to pee more because of his kidneys. But literally, it solved the problem, and they were safe. I didn't have to like worry about it. And it was like riding a bike. It didn't take not even one whimper. Like, it was like, oh, I'm home now. I got rid of the crates, which you can get. I usually recommend to people after a year, get rid of your crate. Like, if you want to. If you have to get rid of your crate, wait till a year till you've really solidified that like home, or maybe leave it up, don't close it. But I had 5 dogs. I wasn't going to have 5 crates. I used it for years. They were probably like 5, like they were older. Yeah. So it was such an easy transition for him. And when he wasn't feeling good, that's where he would go, in his crate. So I think it's just a point that I didn't think of. Even if you crate train your dog when they're younger and you don't use it for their whole life, they'll remember it, and you can maybe think to bring it back and utilize that again.
I mean, you just have that option, right? Like, and it's personal preference. Like, just having that in the beginning, like, you're a baby, you wear diapers when you're a baby, but you don't when you're an adult because you're good, right? But sometimes you got it at the end, right? So it's the same thing. You have that option for the dog. So it was just super important.
Super important. And I would say I don't want to say the number one, but every dog is going to go through this at some point in his life, maybe multiple times, is the veterinarian. So, okay, puppy. They're getting spayed or neutered. They're still young. So say you didn't use a crate and you're getting them spayed and neutered. They're usually okay. Okay. They're great for 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is, you don't use a crate. Something happens that you have to take them to the vet. They're sick. They have to do tests. I don't know if anyone, most of us who have dogs have probably gone through this, that you have to bring your dog and leave them for testing, or again, they're sick, or something really bad happened that they have to stay there for a couple of days and figure things out. Guess where they're going? In a crate.
Yeah.
Now you have a dog that is sick or not feeling well or in pain. They're away from their mom and dad. And now they're going into a space that they literally are going to freak out in.
Terrified.
And be terrified.
Yeah.
And I mean, we go to veterinarians' offices all the time for different things. There's always somebody that's not comfortable in the crate.
The cat call. Yeah.
Barking,
and it's sad for them.
Screaming.
Like, it's like emotionally, that dog's well-being, they're freaking stressed, right? So stressed. And when they're that stimulated, that overstimulated, to get them to come back down, they're going to go home and just like be out for days. Like, and that's just like, that's not fair to them. It's really not fair. Like, when I worked in rehab at the hospital, it was dogs would come in, they would go on a run, or they would go in a crate, depending on their size. They'd come out when it was their turn. They would go back in. It's something that even just like maintenance and health wise, it's just nice to know when you're not with your dog is comfortable and your dog is safe.
Yes.
Right?
Like, if Finley ever had to go to the vet for anything, I know he's going to be fine because he loves the crate. Bring your blanket, do something. And listen, the veterinarians try. Yeah. The vet techs try. They're giving treats. Guess what? Your dog is not going to eat when they're super stressed, when they're in pain, when they're sick. So think of it in long terms like that. Even if it's that one time that your dog gets so sick that he has to stay in the veterinarian's hospital, that he at least feels comfort and is comfortable there in the crate, I think it's worth crate training your dog.
It's a huge training tool for your dog, like for their whole life. Like, the crate you're using for potty training, for traveling, for grooming, for veterinarians. Like, it's something that they honestly need. Like, and no, you don't have to have them in it all the time. Like, people are like, do I need to have my dog in it at night when I'm sleeping? Well, that's personal preference. There's no right or wrong answer for any of that, but them having that option, you having that option is, it would literally, if Raja would go in a crate.
I mean, my dogs have always slept with us, my rescue now, because we've never had a shedder. And
you're lucky.
Now we do. And my husband is like, there is no way he's staying in our bed, which is fine. It's actually more comfortable for us. But again, like you said, it's personal choice. But usually when the dog is trained. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole like how to get your dog that is very uncomfortable used to a crate. But most dogs, like say they're a rescue, say you rescue a dog from a shelter, anywhere, any rescue, they've probably been in a crate at some time in their life.
Yeah.
You can simply start by, I don't know why I said it like that, simply,
it's okay. What I couldn't say behaviorally.
simply start by feeding them in it with it open.
Yeah.
There, I would put it in the living room while you're sitting there, chuck treats in there, do things. You're not going to even attempt to shut it for about a week to 2 weeks of them comfortably going in there.
Yep.
And then you can shut it. And again, you're going to have 3 days of some crying. But once you know they go in and out, they're like fine in there, you'll be able to close the door. I do want to say, too, I have a puppy client right now that's, where does she live? I don't know. Chicago, somewhere. She had the cutest little puppy. We've been texting back and forth because she was going through some I was like, I promise 3 days it'll be better. And it was. She's like, he's like a dream now in the crate. But in the beginning, she was like, he's so good in the crate. I go, oh, he is? She goes, he'll lay in it like all day. He'll go in there. I go, oh my God, that's great. And then do you let him out? She goes, oh, I leave the crate door open all the time. And it's a 9-week-old puppy. I was like, yeah, but what happens when you close it?
Yeah.
She's like, well, he screams. I'm like, okay. He's going to scream, but you know it's not the crate that he hates because he goes in there. He's going to scream. 3 days, I promise. Give him some treats, put it out of the way, and now he's like a dream. So the point of the crate is not to just leave it open forever.
Right.
You might have to go do a little bit of turmoil there, go take a walk. Like if your dog is whining a little bit, give them treats, shut it. They're safe. They're covered. White noise. Go for a walk. 3 days. It will be better. But hopefully hearing all of these different things about the crate will keep people kind of thinking and, hey, maybe I should be using a crate. Yeah. Now, we'll obviously go over how to properly crate train, and you never just throw your dog in there. If your dog's resistant at all, you're not going to like force your dog in there because that'll actually make them hate the crate. But I think it's important because once I started, actually I have a whole, I have a book coming out next year. Mm-hmm. And I have a whole crate training chapter. And when I started writing it, it was all of these like things. I was like, oh my gosh, and this, and this, and what about this? And there's probably things that were not even like, I don't even know. I have to go back now if I put travel, because even traveling with a smaller dog, they should be in a crate, like in the back seat and safe and not jumping all over you in the car. Yeah. That's another. I'll ask clients like that have a little dog. He almost got me in an accident. He's on my lap, and
even
that's
a big dog. What if you got an accident?
Well, you need like a big car if you're going to put a big dog in the crate. Well, but they have like great travel.
Listen, if you want a dog, you got to do what you got to do. You got to get a truck.
Okay.
I mean,
the dog is your life. If you have a big dog, you're going to have to get a crate in the back.
Yeah,
with the
it's
big
an
truck.
Investment. People.
Yes, it is an investment.
It's a way of life.
An investment. I think we covered everything on what's important for crate training. What I will say, get a crate. If you don't have a crate, we will kind of go over that. You can find us everywhere that podcasts are on Spotify, Apple Music. There's another one that I can't remember the name. Also, our social media. It's
Audible.
She got it. Audible. Dynamite Dog Training and Lucky Dog Training Club are companies that you can find us on social media. And we also have on social media and Instagram just for, did you do TikTok too?
What do you mean, did I do TikTok
today? For the podcast? There's an Instagram.
Yeah. I linked it.
Just for, okay. Just for the podcast stuff, if you don't care about the other stuff that we're talking about. But thank you for watching. And thank you, Amanda, for talking to me about crate training. But we will see you next time.